Simon Woodhouse is a chef with a dream. He's come to France in a leaking boat he bought for £1 and renovated himself. His mission is to travel through the canals, sampling the delights of regional cooking, and finally open his boat as a restaurant in Paris. This is the story of the Floating Kitchen. It's now a month since Simon Woodhouse left England in Waterlily. He's travelled through Picardy discovering the secret of saltmarsh lamb.
Now, how far from a supermarket can you get?
But getting through the French canals has proved disastrous. Low water levels in Amiens have forced Simon to turn round and travel away from his final destination, Paris. And then, worst of all, to get under a broken swing bridge, he had to chop off the doghouse. But the cooking has been a triumph. He's baked a pièce montée for 250 wedding guests in Épinay and got away with a speech to the bride and groom in French, with a little help.
Je suis un chef. Donc Simon est un chef anglais qui nous a fait...
Having turned around, Simon is back at Valery-sur-Somme and he's been joined by his mate John. Their mission now is to go south to Burgundy and into deep water canals, but it means another perilous trip out to sea in a leaking boat.
The last journey I did was 100 miles from here to St Valery. I've now got to do 75 miles from here. That's where we're headed. This time with no support boat.
With a 20-hour voyage to Le Havre in open seas, the last thing Simon needs is gale force winds. He can't risk a long voyage in these conditions. He's had time to rebuild the doghouse, but now he and John are preparing for the worst. To hit high tide, they've got to get going tomorrow. Leak or no leak.
This is not what I'd call a seaworthy vessel, really. She was nailed together to get across the channel once, and now she's going to go back out into the channel, down 75 miles to Le Havre. Just really don't want to do that.
But for once, luck is on their side, and the next morning the wind has dropped. John's in charge of navigation.
Oh yeah, the book upside down. Navigator.
After 20 hours, Simon and John finally arrive in one piece at the mouth of the River Seine, one of the busiest shipping channels in France.
This river's a bit hardcore. It's imagine the Thames with French people driving boats up and down it.
It's not canal pleasure boats he's got to worry about here. It's 600-ton tankers en route for the Atlantic.
Well, that low smoke is down there.
And life on Waterlily certainly doesn't lend itself to cruising long distances. For a hot shower, Simon, as ever, will have to improvise.
Exhaust water's a bit black, but it's probably not as bad as me.
But despite the joys of the warm water wash, their luck's about to run out. 2 hours up the river, they decide to rest at Rouen. But the engine won't restart. After 3 hours of toil and sweat, nothing seems to be working.
There's normally at least some sign of life.
It's the last straw. Now with the engine not even working, there's a worry that this boat won't even make it to Paris.
If I can't fix it, it's pretty much terminal, to be honest. If I can't get diesel, if I can't make the engine go, we're not going anywhere. There's no way I could get a tow on this river. It's too fast.
For his own peace of mind, Simon decides to forget about his boat problems for a while and get back onto the food trail. Leaving the boat for a few days, he heads south to Burgundy. This is prime hunting country. The cuisine is dominated by game meat. Wild boar and deer flourish here in thousands of acres of protected forest. The countryside is spectacular. Simon's real mission now is to experience hunting game firsthand with one of Burgundy's top hunters and restaurateurs, Francois Gellet. Everyone has to be quiet. The animals can hear the slightest sound miles away.
I've just made the mistake of slamming the car door. Stupid, because we were talking.
Preparation is everything, and Francois has brought along some high-tech backup.
To see from where the wind is blowing.
Okay.
Oh. It is the cry of the female, and when she hears that, she comes.
It's a short trek up to the hideout that Francois wants to show Simon, but no one's getting that stay silent message.
We're trying to be as quiet as possible. And yeah, there's a film crew walking through a forest. And one of them's just trodden all the sticks.
The hideout is small, but it gives them the perfect view of a forest clearing. Wild boar and deer only really venture out when the sun goes down. They're highly sensitive to noise and smell.
How long do we normally wait? It's 2 hours, an hour.
You can wait 20 hours, and there is nothing. And you can wait 1 minute, and you can see 2 or 3.
A family of wild boar appear, but they're too young to kill and too far away. And with the light disappearing fast, Francois decides they'll have more luck hunting on the move.
It's a great feeling of anticipation and excitement. And they're really, really hard to spot.
Suddenly, a group of wild boar crash through the undergrowth and across the road. Francois has them in his sights. Minutes tick by. But incredibly, Francois seems to have made a decision not to shoot, despite having a clear shot at the boars. In vain, they continue to search into the night. And the next day, Simon is keen to find out more about Francois' hunting philosophy.
It seemed very important to me that you didn't kill the things that we saw. Is that a policy to manage the land, manage the animals?
We try to manage the animal, and it is why we don't shoot any animal we see. We perfect every year. We try to perfect it, to have a better population, to increase the population in number and in quality.
And health.
Yeah, and health, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there was an air of disappointment from you that there was no success, there was no shot. But for me, yeah, I'm happy with that.
If you are happy, I am happy, because my aim is to give the pleasure, to share the pleasure with you.
Despite the lack of a kill, Francois already has a wild boar ready to be skinned and cooked in his kitchen.
Viens, chouchou, vas-y, c'est bon.
Burgundy style.
C'est bon. Périchiné.
Skinning wild boar is an art form in itself. It's hard work.
I just feel we should be doing it hanging from a tree in the forest.
The fillets are prized as the best meat, but some inedible parts of the animal are prized as trophies.
It is a food of honor.
And then given to the woman of the house as a present.
He's now just cutting straight down the centre line of this animal with a big saw. Well, there's no mistaking that sound, is there?
Francois cooks wild boar as a simple rustic dish.
Always, rose pan, in the rose pan.
The boar fillets are seared in an open pan,
And this is all burning.
and he's used 2 types of wild mushrooms, polypore and girole, fried with plenty of butter. This is the way they've been cooking wild boar for years, and it's exactly the type of dish that appeals to Simon.
The guys give me exactly what I wanted, which is a very, very simple treatment. So I can actually taste the meat. I can actually taste this famous wild boar and see what it's all about.
It's a simple dish, the only additional flavour being a classic red wine reduction made with the juices from the meat. It's totally unfussed about with, and for Simon it's something that wouldn't look out of place on his final menu in Paris.
Well, you just can't beat that for a taste of the forest that we were in this morning. It's fantastic.
Coming up, Simon's invited to cook his own version of a game dish in one of France's grandest chateaux for its well-to-do owners and their friends.
Tomorrow we're going to be cooking deer that these guys shot in their own forests.
But some guests are already twitchy about an English chef in the kitchen.
An English chef, for me, an English chef, it's no sense.
And for the first time, Simon starts to really feel the pressure.
I have to pull something out of the bag here because it's all going wrong.